Howdy folks, welcome back to the TJR Auto Channel. My name is Tyler. This is my old rig, Holly, the HD. And in today's video, we're going to be giving this thing some much needed love. So this old girl is officially mine. Just, titled her and got her registered today, so that is cool. But before I can, take this thing out and enjoy it on the streets out here, a couple things we need to address. Number one being the rounded off drain plug in the oil pan, so we gotta fix that.
Well folks, she ain't pretty, but she's loose.
I'm gonna give that drain plug a couple minutes to cool off since we were just welding on it, but thankfully that's loose. That's about half of my stress today gone. So with that taken care of, like I said, we're gonna let that cool down for a few minutes. Let's rip this MAF out of here. Let's take a look at that. Probably just give it a little cleaning. Oil change is officially done. Got a AC Delco PF61E filter. That's a longer filter than what they usually put on these. I actually bought two of these for the GTO. Turned out that the eBay oil pan I'm running on the GOAT is different. And then funny enough, that is the GTO's original oil pan drain plug. For whatever reason, this 6.0 truck oil pan and this 6.0 truck oil pan have different drain plugs. So either this is an aftermarket pan or somebody messed up and had to put a different bolt in this one. But the threads are completely different size. This one is very girthy compared to the stock one. So now the old GTO pan that is cracked has our lovely nut welded drain plug thingy. But anywhoosins, since the filter is bigger, I threw in some extra oil. Should be good to go on that aspect, but before I bother hooking the batteries back up and firing it, we might as well just knock out the spark plugs. The spark plug wires are coming in sometime this evening, so I figure by the time I'm done wrestling with the plugs themselves, should have some fresh wires to throw on. So I got very lucky, and I actually managed to get the driver's side plugs out. This is front to back. No problem. These came out like butter, but these look pretty old. Hard to say if these are... I don't know if these are originals or if somebody replaced them at some point, but 41962s. Apparently, there's a good plugs according to online, and I don't see any like actual issues with them. Let me try to zoom in for it. They don't look bad. I don't know what the tip of this is supposed to look like on this specific plug, but I'll probably just change them anyways. I mean, it can't hurt anything. These are roughly gapped between 50 and 60, so I think they should probably only be at one size, not multiple. That's also kind of a something I'm a little sketchy about with these, but yeah, I'll probably just end up throwing in the TR55s. Like I said, they were used to basically do like a idle tune on the 6.0 and the GTO, and then my tuner had me put TR6s in, or TR7s, I think 6s. I think I'm running 6s in this car. The original LS1, which is behind this, also had 55s in it, and I guess now the good old Steed will have 55s as well. Again, this was the driver's side front to back. Here is the passenger side front to back. Number 6, I believe. And number 6 is she's a bit oily. She's a bit oily. Is that the one, or is there another one too? I think that was the only one. The other ones are meh. Yeah, so 6 seemed like it was a little oily, and then putting the new plugs in, I think 3 or 5 was not happy going into the head. So that one is snug, and we're going to hope that that's fine. But now I'm basically waiting on Amazon to deliver the new plug wires. Those old ones are, they were replaced at some point. I don't think they're OEMs, and they're just kind of shitty, if we're going to be honest. Wired for life. And then something, I don't know. So we'll hang on to a couple of the best looking ones just as spares for the truck. But yeah, so I gotta wait on that. A new headlight bulb is also on its way. This plug is not promising, but I want to plug a bulb into it and see what happens. And then also this was broken, and I JB welded it, and apparently I broke it again, probably from leaning against it when I did the plugs. So that's just dandy stuff. And I forget if I said it or not, but this tire goes flat after like 2 days of sitting. So that's cool. That's nice. But while we wait, I might as well rebuild the engine with this guy. Probably a scam, and that's fine. So we'll just fucking force feed her, and that'll make all my problems go away. I also discovered why the truck sounds pretty good. That's because it's not really connected there. Mr. Amazon finally showed up, so looking fresh. So it's still throwing the check engine light and it's blinking, which I was always told that means misfire. And before it did have a code for misfire, now it doesn't have a code when I try to scan it. So that's that. And either we have a lifter issue or there's an exhaust leak on this side. When you start it, you can hear it, and then once it warms up, it does go away. But it's pretty quiet running 6.0, so can't beat that. Not going any faster than that with these hubs, but hey, she runs pretty good. Alrighty, well, it's the day after the tune-up, and drove this old stallion to work and back, and she's doing good. Again, I know I've said it a million times, really the only complaint I have right now is the front wheel bearings. They scream, so you know, I'm keeping it around 50, 55 is like my max mile per hour at the moment, and it's doing great. It's doing good. But I figure I have some time today, so we might as well get some fun stuff done. Yeah, the holes make it a little less than ideal. As this dries, let's go prep the tailgate. Bada bing, bada boom. Well, that's about as much as I care to mask it. You can see just how good, just how good it is. And of course now the wind is picking up, but let's give her a little. Remember guys, we want to go slow. We want to build it up, build it up, build it up. So, boop, boop. Just a little bit, you know? Just gotta build it up. Alrighty, well, she's all sanded up, debadged and whatnot. I don't really care how this turns out, but took our rust spots down to bare metal. Gonna hit them with some self-etching primer, let them, you know, dry for a couple minutes. Then we'll shoot this thing white. Let's go check out how the front end's doing. All right, just threw the second coat on, so it's still wet. Obviously, this one's gonna be an eyesore regardless. It's a dent. I can't get to it easily. I don't care to fix it properly. And then over here, we are definitely looking better. But as I do more coats, I'll probably fan it out a little bit more each time. I did clean this entire area, so this should actually turn out pretty decent. And for anybody saying, oh, you should probably do something on the bed too, this thing is toasted. I mean, the amount of work it would take to actually make this bed nice, not worth it in any degree. So anybody who might have noticed that this actually used to be, this top end was like kind of bowed down,
floor jack and a piece of wood, popped it right back up. So now it's, you know, straighter than it was. But I'm not too worried about some of the battle scars. I just figured the biggest, you know, eye aches on the front end and obviously the red tailgate might as well be fixed. So let's shoot this bad boy white. Alrighty, well, the tailgate don't look too bad. Obviously, it's not going to be that nice of a finish. It is, you know, a turbo can after all, but probably need another coat or two on this just so I can, you know, blend them. You can still see some striping. So this only has about 1.5-ish coats on it. They're really not that heavy. So throw a couple more coats on this, should be good to go. And then up on the front end, I just unmasked it after I threw the last coat on, and it looks pretty damn good. You gotta, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. And that really ain't bad. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see on camera. So when the sun hits it, well, it's also because it's wet, looks a little different, but it's all white, and that's all I really give a shit about. So I'll take it. Well, the tailgate is not on the paint stands. Has made its way to the truck. This is Audrey's first time seeing the truck. What do you think?
I think it's a nice truck. I think it's one of the best.
Don't touch that.
I almost touched it.
It's very wet.
A good looking truck that Tyler has about.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's better than Crystal.
Oh, she said it. She said it. Yeah, no, I agree. But just from the half-ass paint job stuff, repairs, thingies we've done, it certainly looks a lot better. So I will take it. Finally, we had some packages come. Oh, probably can't show that. But double-sided tape so that we can put that top strip back on the tailgate. Also, definitely want to put the backing, you know, that black plastic thingy over yonder. Also, we got a new handle and trim bezel for the tailgate, so that's nice because mine is broken and I'm missing the trim piece, so that's good. And we finally got some front wheel bearings. So let's get this tire, you know, let's get the truck up in the air, tire off, and we'll do a quick browse over how to do wheel bearing. Alrighty, well, she's up in the air, got a jack stand under there, and that wheel was a bear to get off. But brakes don't look horrible. We don't have any crazy grooves on the rotors. We still do have, might be hard to see, we still do have some pad life left, so I'm not too worried about the brakes right now, but definitely going to keep it in mind that I should do them at some point soon. But funny enough, this wheel bearing is most likely fine. The wheel didn't have any slop, you know, forward and backward. The passenger side, I've had that side off the ground. That one's really bad. So realistically, the passenger side really is the one that needs to be replaced. But with something like this, you just do them in sets, be done. Like I said, this is pretty straightforward. So we're down to, you know, this. So what we're going to do is pop the 2 bolts off that hold the caliper bracket on and pull the whole caliper with the pads as an assembly. I'll probably put a race ramp here, plop it on the race ramp. We're good. We don't want to put too much tension on the rubber brake line. And then we have to get this dust cap off, and I believe there's a 35 or 36 millimeter bolt back here for the axle because this is 4-wheel drive. So that'll be easy enough to get off and do that. And then there is 4 bolts. You can see 1 and 2 right here. There's 4 total that hold the wheel bearing, I guess, to the knuckle, the hub to the knuckle. Pop those 4 bolts off, basically have to beat it out, clean everything up, and then reassemble it. So pretty straightforward. If you've never done it before, it's actually not scary. It's not hard at all. I've done them on my neighbor's 6-lug truck, and obviously this is 8-lug, but basically the same thing. So let's get it. Oh my God, that was such a pain in my ass. And that is why you lube things up and anti-seize them, so that doesn't happen. I just had to sit here with heat and beating it with a hammer and running these bolts in, and of course I broke one of the bolts into the rotor, so hopefully I can get that out pretty easily. But now we can finally do the hub. well, finally, we got this old hunk of shit out. I'm going to look around for a brand name on this. I'm curious if this is the original. It probably isn't, but you never know. This thing was in there. This thing was glued in there. So, kind of wish I bought or, you know, sourced newer or better dust shields. Whatever. I'll end up cleaning these up. And I would hit them with a coat of paint, but I don't have any, like, black paint. So, they'll just get cleaned up, thrown back on. Eventually, I would like to obviously paint the frame and, you know, probably just do new control arms instead of having to press in new bushings and whatnot. So, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I want to clean up the inside of this knuckle. I would like to run a little bit of sandpaper through here around the axle, and then obviously same on the axle itself. And then everything will get a generous coat of probably grease or anti-seize. I might do grease inside of here, and then on mating surfaces do some anti-seize. I don't know if it's recommended or not to do anti-seize like in this area, you know, where the bearing actually sits. But this bearing was still in good shape. This one didn't make any noise and it didn't have any wobble to it. I know the passenger side definitely is bad, but let's get everything cleaned up. We'll start throwing it back together and we should be good. So with the help of some sandpaper and a lot of brake clean, we got the whole inside cleaned up, and then I ended up using some red high temp grease in here because I completely forgot that these have a O-ring in them, which I'm definitely not replacing. So figured grease is probably better to use on that than like anti-seize would. So everything just has a very thin layer of grease in there, just so it'll help with corrosion. Cleaned up the brake shield the best that you can clean up a rotted brake shield. And then I just took a quick wire wheel to the surface of this and sanded the inside of it lightly just to get some of the rust, you know, heavy rust off in there. So this will be cleaned probably 5 more times before I actually throw it on, obviously after we do the new hub. But we're looking good, and let's start assembly. Well, the new Johnny is in. She's looking nice, she's spinning smooth. The torque specs, which I didn't film, but just so you guys know if you're doing this at home, torque specs for the 4 bolts from the knuckle to the hub are, I believe, 133 foot-pounds. The axle nut itself, you do not want to use an impact to get this on. I use the impact to get it off, but putting it back on, it has this like crush washer, thrust washer thing. I don't know what it's called. But you definitely want to put this on by hand. This goes to 157, and then the bolts for the caliper bracket, or I guess the whole caliper itself in my case, those are 221 foot-pounds. And then as you can see here, I put a very light coating of anti-seize all the way around the hub, all around the edge, just so our rotor won't get stuck like it did earlier. And then we'll get the rotor on, caliper bracket, torque those 2 bolts. I am going to have to zip tie this ABS sensor wire here because this mounting bracket doesn't fit the new plug. Go figure. That's what you get for cheapo hubs, but everything else plugged in nicely up there. So let's get this thing back together, and then I get to do it all again on the other side. Can't wait. Yeah, it's a little less than ideal, so let's change her out. I have nothing to say other than I'm not fond of this truck after doing these wheel bearings. I've been outside for probably like 8 hours doing just the front wheel bearings, and I thought the other side was worse than this side. Doing this side was atrocious. We don't even have a dust shield anymore because it literally just like fell off. This was horrible. This was horrible. Let's just wrap this up. It is the day after doing the front wheel bearings, and I would call it a success. You know, put a couple miles on the truck last night and this morning. All is well. Doesn't make any scary noises anymore. Drives fine and all that jazz. So I'll call that good. That was horrible. I think I spent maybe 8 or 9 hours doing just those front wheel bearings. It was rough. It was rough. I don't know. But let's do some easy stuff, and that'll probably wrap up today's video. So first things first, we gotta replace this handle. As we can see, we only have only one of the hooks is actually hooked up. This one you got to pull on as you do this to actually open the tailgate. So
It looks like there's just one bolt holding this on from the back side. So pull that bolt out, we'll replace this handle. It comes with these new plastic clips for here so we can actually get this rod attached to this. And then once this is replaced, put on the bezel piece. And then after that, we can wipe off the tailgate and put on our black plastics. So yeah, should definitely clean it up. Should look pretty nice. And then I have one more surprise for this truck. So obviously, as I just showed, we now have working tailgate and a new trim bezel, new handle, all that jazz. Got this plastic piece back on, as well as the piece that goes on the back here. So we look good. And then, crazy story, hear me out. The tailpipe fell off. Crazy, news to me. I don't know how that happened. The only thing I can do is fire it up and let's see how it comes. Alrighty, folks, well, that's where we're going to be wrapping up today's video. I'm pretty pumped about all the work we got done on Holly, the HD, because, you know, heavy duty. But, honestly, I am pretty damn stoked. I've been driving this thing every single day. Haven't even touched the Marquee or the GTO, which pains me, but hey, you know, it is what it is. But I've been putting some miles on this thing, and honestly, it drives pretty nice. I really do enjoy driving it. So I would say that this purchase was well worthwhile. I know not everybody's going to love this thing. You know, it is what it is. I've been on the hunt for one of these trucks for a while, and I'm super happy with it. It still needs a lot more work, but for what it is, this is all it needs to be for now. Little tongue twister for you. Try saying that 10 times over, huh? Because it doesn't even make sense. But anywhoozins, she looks better. She drives a million times better, and hopefully we can get this thing running better soon. We're going to see what that little magic in the bottle did. But yeah, it sounds cooler, looks better, drives better. So that's really all you can ask for, right? We definitely need to fix the AC though, because not good on hot days. Not good in the slightest. It's horrible. But anywhoozins, that's where I'm wrapping it up. So as always, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. I truly do appreciate it. I love each and every one of you. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you subscribe to see some more content. Drop a like and drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the old girl. All right, on the last video where I revealed her, not too many people said if they liked it or not. So let me know. Do you like her more now, or do you like her less? You know, I think it's better, right? Please tell me it's better. Please validate my money crisis in the comments down below. But once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.